Hi, it's time for another lesson, and in this one, we are looking at the reading component to understand it generally when it comes to the IELTS. So, what is the reading component about? It's a receptive communication skill. It means that you'll be receiving information from a text. And how would administrators of the test know that you are proficient in the language with regard to reading? You'd be asked 40 questions, and this will be subdivided into 13, 13, 14 among the three sections of the test. And these three sections correspond with the three passages. So each passage is a section and it will have a number of questions under it. The passages range from 500 to 1,000 words, and these are authentic text. It means that they exist, and they are usually from academic sources, so journals, books, feature articles, and whatnot. These are texts that you have to read to answer the 40 questions that you have. You don't need to bring on board any knowledge beyond what you have on the paper on the day to be able to answer all the questions. There's a slight difference between academic and general training reading. While the academic candidates are having 3 long passages, those doing general training would have short notes in sections 1 and 2 and a long passage in section 3. That's just the slight difference between the two. And texts for those doing general training are mostly work related, especially in sections 1 and 2. You need about 30 correct answers minimum to get a band 7 if you're doing academic, and you need about 34, 35 to get a band 7 if you're doing general training. The difference between these two categories of test takers is not really wide when it comes to the reading component, so it's not such a big deal. You need this information as well. What do you need to equip yourself with before coming for the reading test? You should build your skimming skills. What is skimming? Your ability to read a text very quickly. That is not to say that you're just passing your eye through the text that you have. You're actually reading, but very quickly to get an overview of the text that you have. So what is this text about? You should be able to answer that question by the time you're done skimming. You should also be able to underline certain keywords. And when it comes to the reading component of the test, the keywords that you need to underline while skimming are the paraphrase versions, are the synonyms of those keywords you have in the questions. When we get to the skills, when we get to the tips and strategies, we will talk more about what you're supposed to do first when you get your questions. Then you need to have the ability to scan. And what are you doing at this point? You're looking for portions that contain answers to the questions. You may have underlined a number of keywords relating to a particular question, so you have to see which of these portions contain answers to the questions that you're looking at. At the point when you're reading closely, you should be able to settle on the definite answer to the question. And of course, the answer should be correct, not just any word or words, but the very correct answer to the questions. What you should get to at the point of reading closely. You should build your vocabulary. You need that for the reading. Synonyms, paraphrase versions. If you underline keywords in the questions, you have to be able to identify their paraphrase versions in the passage to get the answers to the questions. Keywords also. What words are key? What words are significant? What words are crucial? to a particular question, that if you take these words out, you are left with a very hollow structure that is not really asking anything. You need to be able to identify that. For example, if I ask you, what is your name? The pronoun your and then name are the two key words in this question. So that if you're mentioning a name, it should be your name and not any other person's name. Or if you're giving any response at all, it should be your name and nothing else. You should think about time management as well. We'll delve into this later when you're looking at the tips and strategies. You should be able to allocate the right amount of time. On the question paper, you'll be asked to spend 20 minutes on each of the sections. But because the difficulty level is not the same for each of the sections, you have to properly allocate the time. So for us, because we've done this over time and we've seen that it yields results, we recommend that you do 15 minutes for section 1, 20 minutes for section 2, and then 25 minutes for section 3. Remember, it's a reading test, and the examiners are interested in the answers that you provide at the end, because that's the only way that they can tell whether you're proficient in the language or not. Do not focus on understanding the text, because most often, because the texts are for intellectual communities. So for example, you have something on astronomy. The text would be easily understood by somebody within that field. But if you're not from that field, it will be very difficult for you to understand. So your priority during the reading test is not to understand the text that you have. It is to find answers to the 40 questions. Do not bother yourself trying to understand the text, trying to understand certain big words or sophisticated words that you come across during the reading. Provide answers to the 40 questions, and that is all that you have to do. Best of luck in your preparation, and I'll see you in the next lessons.